right. Dark Side versus Cthulhu. Who would win? The New Gods or the Outer Gods? Well, of course, it depends on who's drawing it. I think the New Gods. One of the big differences between the two. Who would win? Cthulhu or Kirby's New Gods?
Who's better dressed today, me or you? Just because you got a vest. But I got
and a tie.
I got a clip-on bow tie.
Clip-ons disqualified.
And I don't have socks with my Crocs.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, he's wearing Crocs and he thinks he's dressed well. You're wearing leftover tire parts. Come on. Disqualifying. Disqualified.
But I'm Commando.
Here we go. Still holds the title as best dressed.
But I'm Commando.
Help. God damn it! God damn it! I haven't even got here yet.
Give me a minute, okay?
We're going to be filming stuff. Yes, I know that was a little boring, but yeah, instant gin. Instant gin. Showing up on the Instagram, showing up on the Facebook, dancing with the Sith Lord. So yeah, that is currently uploading. Joe is missing again, missing in action. It's Joe! We had a break for Dancing Gin to being recorded. And it is taking a long time to upload because that is a long video. You're going to get a long video of Gin dancing.
And then Kylo Ren, right?
Yeah.
Oh, is he back? Are you back? Oh.
Who knows?
I was going to interview you.
Oh, I like that!
Flip back to the camera.
Are you paused or are you actually?
No. That's when we look to see if anybody has a question or anything.
There you go. Worth it.
All right, let's see.
Okay.
So you got to move in a little. Or is Wolfie doing the interview?
Wolfie's doing the
And
interview.
you get the hell out of it.
All right.
Wait. You don't mind if it looks like someone's got an arm up your butt? Just
No,
like
you
last
don't.
night? Oh, good man.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, sorry. And now I get this piece of hubba bubba behind you off the floor.
I'm being interviewed. I'm eating today at least.
Well, that's
Yesterday
good.
I didn't.
You did? Why not?
Because when I went upstairs to go get something to eat, the line was too long and I had to come down here. I'm eating a healthy City Smiths.
Ooh.
And we'll take free ones. It's still uploading. It's long.
Ding, ding. Is that people dinging you?
Probably. I will take a look and see if we got any questions that aren't from Wolfie.
Okay. You look at. He's looking for questions. We'll see what happens. Anything good?
I have a question I'll get to when Matthew, I will get to your question.
What was it?
It's another Kirby question, but you want to interview me, so
Yeah.
I'll save that for when you're not around.
Well, that's fine, but I want to hear what was the question.
Hey.
Yeah, I want to know the question because I want to know if I can answer it.
Matthew Guy asks, did Kirby shape the Image Revolution and Underground comics?
Well, sort of. See, he decided that it was really interesting to try to do it in a cave, and so for a few years he was trying the underground comics like that. But unfortunately, it didn't work out because there was no lighting. Hopefully that answered the question.
Crickets, everyone.
Cheep, 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 cheep. Anyway, so
Wolfie has questions.
sure, I'll figure some out.
Are these going to be embarrassing and crude?
Not at first.
Jen, you know how you like to make gifts?
I do.
Oh.
This is great.
Go ahead and ask, Wolfie.
Okay, so you were a founding father of this convention, weren't you?
Yes, I wasn't at the first meeting, but I was involved in the first meetings. And what it was, we would meet at the College of Comic Book Knowledge, walk down the street to Annie's Parlor in Uptown. Broke my heart when they closed. Loved that place. It was back when I could still eat meat, and their burgers were the best burgers I'd ever had in my whole life. The fries were great too.
Oh yeah.
And they're still in Annie's Parlor at the U of M, right?
I believe so.
You ever been there?
Not me. No.
Oh, so good. And the milkshakes. Milkshakes were worth it. But yeah, we would go down there and then we would talk about what we would do to get the convention going. And first we had one day at the VFW to raise money for the 2-day at the Thunderbird.
Oh, so the 2-day was at the Thunderbird first,
Yes.
and the first 1 day was at VFW.
Yep, the 1 day would move around. It was at a VFW, it was here, it was there. At one point it was at the Community Center in Maplewood.
Oh, okay.
And it was there for quite a few years, and I always thought that was a weird venue, but it worked somehow. And the 1 day was always a way just to raise money for the 2-day.
Oh,
But then the 2-day got big enough that the 1 day kind of became its own thing, and we didn't need to raise money for the 1 day anymore.
oh, nice. So, and originally, SpringCon was the 1 day.
Yes, SpringCon was the 1 day, FallCon was the 2-day, and we always had it the week after.
Hello. Hi. Oh. Hi. 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 Hi.
Those of you who listen to the podcast are watching in horror as Wolfie is interacting with a small child.
Oh, my eyes. Okay. Hello.
So what comics are you buying, Annie?
Are you buying comics? What do we got? Oh, Green Lantern. It's a Green Lantern figure.
Oh, cool!
Yeah. Oh, it's Guy Gander.
Guy Gardner.
Gardener. Whatever. He's a gardener?
Yes.
Well, no wonder he's green.
He's a Green Lantern.
Yeah. Green Lantern. Bye. Have fun. Bye. Whew.
If they only knew where that mouth has been. Wolfie, do you feel inferior to the big bad wolf?
No, I was the big bad wolf. I mean, think about it. I am big in certain areas and bad. Oh, so bad.
So, you had a follow-up question?
I did, I'm sure. Oh, the one-day thing.
Yes.
Yes.
The one day used to be in the spring, the 2 day was in the fall.
Yep.
And we would do the Fall Con the week after Renfest closed. Because in the beginning, a lot of our volunteers were Renfesters.
Okay.
But they moved it to the spring because more and more conventions were in the fall, so it was getting harder and harder to get guests. And at the time, there weren't as many conventions before.
Okay.
Well, now there's conventions all the time.
Yes.
So, like Motor Cities this weekend. There's a couple. There's Wizard World. We destroyed you bastards.
They are gone. They have been eaten. And I like licking it.
But we moved the 2 day to the spring, and I think it's just going to stay like that from now on.
Cool. 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 So, more questions? Say something? Oh, that's you.
Yeah, just that. It's
Laughs, haha.
Wizard World where criminals steal. Yes, yes.
Yeah, that one was
Buzz
good.
is my hero.
Yes.
So, what other questions, Wolfie?
Well, okay, so why are you no longer running? Or shouldn't I ask that question?
No, I've talked about it on the show a couple of times.
Oh.
When I ran the convention, it was more that I did all the shit nobody else wanted to do.
Okay.
I was the one who dealt with the dealers. I was the one who worked with agents to get guests. I was the one who coordinated things. Basically doing the nuts and bolts. And if you look back on the old flyers from that time,
Yeah.
the hotline was my home phone number.
Oh, well.
And I just, because I had a decent answering machine, I would just record, you've reached the Minnesota Comic Book Association hotline, you know, here's what's going on, here's when the convention is, and if you're a dealer or a guest, please leave a message at the tone. I'd be the one getting back to people, coordinating all that stuff.
Oh, okay.
And in 1996,
Is this the Joe story?
no,
Oh,
1996, I was working at a group home that was going to shut down. In August, they said, we're shutting down the end of October. The convention was in September. And when they announced that the group home was shutting down, everybody quit but myself and somebody who worked during the days. And I had a full-time day job. So from August, September, and October, I would come in at 9 o'clock, get everybody to bed, do the sleeping overnight, get them off to school, lock up the house.
okay.
Around noon, the other person would come in, open up the house, be there when they got home from school, take care of the evenings, boom, boom, boom. And I made a lot of overtime. A lot of overtime.
Very different from now.
It's been a sickness. But I knew that I would have to change. I would have to get a different group home job.
Okay.
And I was very unhappy in my full-time job. I was in a full-time job that I didn't enjoy, I didn't like. And I was sending out resumes constantly because I just wanted out.
Right.
And a lot of my friends at the time were very toxic people. So, you know, here I am, I'm a single dad, my son's 8 years old. I'm going to have to change 2 jobs. I'm running this convention, and most of the people in my life are just a mess and very negative. And I came to the convention, I was already exhausted. Running a convention's hard enough on its own, let alone the 2-job thing, let alone one of the jobs you're there all the time.
Yeah.
No support from friends at all about any of this. And so at the convention, the volunteer situation was very different. Someone else was in charge of the volunteers. And the volunteers, Joel talked about it yesterday on the original, they're comic book fans, so they would show up and they would be distracted because, ooh, this artist is here, I want to go do that.
Yeah.
So it's a little before 10.
Okay.
We got the line at the Thunderbird Hotel. It goes all the way down the stairs and outside. And one of the dealers shows up
Okay.
at 10 minutes to 10.
Oh, jeez.
And he's the dealer who's right next to the front door because he always gave us a check at the convention for the next convention because he wanted that spot.
Okay.
And he's got all of his stuff on one cart. So the cart is doing this. Weave it back and forth, and his stuff is pretty beat up and rickety anyway. So it's like, you know, the things look like they're about to collapse. And he's trying to pull this cart through the line of people to get in. And we're, you know, and I'm trying to get a volunteer or something to help. There's nobody around because they're, oh, I want to get a Jan Jurgens sketch before the show opens. I want to do this before the show opens. I want to go hang out with here. Oh, I want to look at the bargains. And I'm like, and the other person there is like frantically trying to make sure that the money is set up and everything. And I'm trying to help this dealer through. And he's just bitching the whole time. You people get out of the way. You got to let me through. I'm the one who pays for this show. I got to get set up. And I'm just finally get him in at like 5 after 10. So the people in the line are really pissed off. We're whipping them through as fast as we can.
Okay.
As soon as that line dies down, the dealer comes out and goes, you know, for the amount of money I pay, I didn't get a lot of help in setting up. Meanwhile, we told them they could set up Friday night. We opened the convention at 7 in the morning so that they could come in and set up beforehand. And he's just in my ear, bitching in my ear, bitching in my ear. And the volunteer situation was bad so that most of the day, it's like, I need to get away so I could go to the bathroom. Is there anybody who could just sit and at least watch for the handstands? No. And in the middle of the second day, I realized I had spent the entire convention sitting in a chair, looking at people doing this. You know, people wearing Batman t-shirts that are like 6 years old, showing me the back of their hands so they could come in. I didn't get to talk to any of the creators that year. I didn't get to go to any of the tables that year. I didn't get to go to any of the panels. I didn't get to go to the after party because I had to go do a sleeping overnight at the group home because that guy was like, you can do the convention, but I can't stay there for 72 hours straight. I need to be able to go home and get stuff. And halfway through the second day, I pulled a couple people aside and said, I'm done. You're going to need to find somebody else to run this. I'm done. I can't do this anymore. And, you know, they were like, oh, no, you're really good. And it was basically, you know, yeah, you've kept this thing running. No, I'm done. I'm done. I can't do it anymore. I can't devote enough. And my mental state is like that. And I guess at that point, Nick was a retailer. And he was, you guys could do so much better. Let me tell you something. If you just did this, this, and this. And he and Brian Wilson, who was another person, they were like this. And that's when I tapped out, Nick came in. And Nick grew it to what it is now because doing the 2 jobs and not working in comics, he worked in comics retail. He had the connections that could grow this to what it is now. With me, you know, we were happy that year. We had finally got it over 1,000 admissions.
Cool.
And that had been my goal. You know, this year, we always seem to hit 700. We always seem to hit 700. I want us over 1,000.
Awesome.
So I was sending out press releases and flyers and doing interviews and all this stuff. And we got it over 1,000. I'm pretty proud of the fact that I'm the one who got us over 1,000.
Very cool.
And Nick came in and turned it into what it is now. There's no way I could have done that. No way. But I did not go to the convention the next 2 years.
Oh, okay.
I was so burned out that those weekends I just told Joe, I'll watch your shop. Don't you want to come to the show? No. I just, the dealers made me so angry. And I changed everything in my life at that point. And by November 1st, I had 2 new jobs. There were a number of people who I just didn't talk to anymore. I kind of hooked in with Joe and the people at the shop much closer to build those friendships.
Hello.
Rather than the people that I was dealing with at the time.
Make sure to come back later.
And then I came back to help Joe at his table. And that's how I kind of came back to the convention. It wasn't anything the convention did that pissed me off. It was I could not take the dealers anymore.
Yeah.
And the next year, because it was Nick, and because Nick knew the dealers and everything, when one of the dealers tried pulling that crap, the person who was in charge of dealer relations actually whipped out a checkbook, started writing a check, and the dealer went, "What are you doing?" "I'm giving you your money back, and we're going to sell your table to somebody else." "Oh, but nope. There you go. There's your check. Don't set up here. Bring in the next dealer."
Nice. That's awesome. I love that.
That's a long ass answer.
Yes, it was. So let's see if there's any more comments.
Okay, let me. Where?
Here we go.
Wolfie, how was it with Snow White and the little wolves as Bigby during the time of Fables? Did you read Fables?
No, not personally. How was it with Snow White and the little wolves as Bigby during the time of Fables? Well, Snow White was, she had just lived with 7 little guys, so she was very willing. She wasn't white by the time I was done, but, the mirror, unfortunately, wasn't as receiving, but, he had a nice mouth. Did that work? Was that anything like the comic?
I'm in pain at this point.
Okay.
Any other questions, Wolfie?
Oh yeah, I have more questions.
Okay.
Okay, so, well, alright, we've talked about you starting the con and what happened. And now, the question I have now is it true that you have a second set of nipples?
No.
Are you sure?
I don't even have a single set of nipples.
Can you prove this?
No.
He really has 2 more on his back. He just doesn't want to stay. It's like on the shoulder blades, so it almost looks like he has breasts on his back. I have cameras in his bathroom.
You know how I say I don't drink because I have to work the next day and everything?
Yeah?
You know how I say that I used to have toxic people in my life? One of the things we would do with those toxic people is go out to happy hour and get kicked out of bars.
Yeah.
I wonder if I still have their phone numbers. I'm gonna need some drinks.
Okay, well, we'll keep on this then. So, all right. Well, you're not gonna disprove what I'm saying because, of course, it's true, and you don't want to do it. Initiation. If you don't get that joke, watch all 8 hours of yesterday.
Yes, because that'll be fun.
Yeah. Well, actually, you only have to watch like the first hour.
Where Wolfie molested me.
Yes, you started it.
I need an adult.
Okay. I'm all for a threesome.
Hold on.
Forget you. I guess the change in my pocket wasn't enough. I'm like, forget you and forget her too. Said if I was richer, I'd still be richer. Wait, that's some shit. And although there's pain in my chest, I still wish you the best. Forget you. Yeah, sorry, I can't afford a Ferrari. But that don't mean I can't get you there. I guess he's an Xbox and I'm more Atari. But the way you play your game ain't fair. I picture a fool that falls in love with you. Oh, she's old. Well, just don't you know. Ooh, I've got some news for you. Yeah, go to run tell your little boy free. See you driving round town with the girl I love.
Meant to do that.
Forget you. I guess the change in my pocket wasn't enough. I'm like, forget you and forget her too. Said if I was richer, I'd still be richer. Wait, that's some shit. And although there's pain in my chest, I still wish you the best. If I forget you. really hate your ass right now. See you driving round town with the girl I love, and I'm like, forget you. I guess the change in my pocket wasn't enough. I'm like, forget you and forget her too. Said if I was richer, I'd still be richer. Wait, that's and although that's pain in my chest, I still wish you the best. Forget you. Now, baby, 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 why you wanna hurt me so bad? So bad, so bad, so bad. I tried to tell my mama, but she told me this is one for your dad. Yeah, she did. And I'm like, why?
Because
I love you. I still love you. Forget you. I guess the change in my pocket wasn't enough. I'm like, forget you and forget her too. Said if I was richer, I'd still be richer. Wait, that's and although that's pain in my chest, I still wish you the best. Forget you.
dance break.
Nothing I can do to top that.
No, not really. Oh, yes you could. Go
What?
ahead, stand up, do some gyrating.
No.
Ooh, 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 twerk,
No.
twerk.
I agree. Forget you doesn't work the same as. We need a segment called Wolfie's Corner of the podcast. No, for the love of
Yes,
God,
yes,
no.
I'm all for it.
Dear sweet heavenly Koresh, no.
Get a petition going. I love it. I'm volunteering for it. You have to get him to let me do it.
You know what? You could put the petition up on whitehouse.gov, and I still no.
Yes, no, make
This
it.
is my show.
I don't care.
It's a
I
dictatorship.
don't care.
It's not a democracy.
I don't care.
Especially since you've blown the interview.
What do you mean I've blown the interview?
The interview is off the rails. The interview's gone completely off the rails.
Look, you had the same problem when Jin was dancing when you were interviewing me.
No, I didn't ask you about extra nipples.
Well, I would have told you. I'd answer. Truthfully. I can do that too.
By the way, this is called the slow burn.
I know, I can feel
Do
it.
you have any other questions?
Sure. So, you have a son?
Yes.
Yes. I feel sorry for him.
So do I.
Okay.
Because I know his mother. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
I set that one up without realizing it.
I'm not as dumb as I look. There's no way I could be and be able to walk upright. Joe missed the dancing.
Yeah,
and I'm
Joe-
not telling it where in the podcast it is.
No.
Actually saw it, but I just turned away.
Yes, Wolfie, yes. I love it.
Remember how they used to do that?
Yes.
Right there in Chile?
Wait, so,
All the way to Australia.
yeah.
Are you done grilling this geek?
I'll give you it back, but I wanted to know what was the yes, Wolfie, yes. I saw somebody say yes, Wolfie, yes.
Yeah, it's hard to know.
Zing. I like it.
So, Matthew, what did you mean by yes, Wolfie, yes?
Oh, no, he wants the segment. He's the one that wants the segment. So,
There will be no Wolfie segment.
I think there should be a Wolfie segment.
It's bad enough when you and Jen hijack the anniversary shows.
It's fine.
And turn it into the puppet porn.
I'll just come on for like 20 minutes. Come on, Matthew. Come on. Say something. Tell him that it's a good idea.
So, do you have any other questions, Wolfie?
Yeah, I'm asking Matthew.
So I don't need to be here?
No, I guess not.
I'm going to eat my cinnamon rolls then.
Okay, yeah, eat those. Matthew! Oh, fine. How we doing?
Oh, there we go. 10-minute segment for Wolfie.
Yeah! 10 minutes. Think about it. It'd be awesome.
Okay, I will think about it.
Okay.
I will think about what a goddamn horrible idea it is.
How dare you say that about your fans? That's it. I'm leaving.
Fine.
Where's Joe? I thought he was taking over.
No, Joe wandered off because that's what Joe does. He leaves.
Okay. Well, I'll be back later then.
I think we have an artist who would like to speak.
Awesome. I'll get out of the way. Bye, Matthew.
Hello.
Hello. And welcome to Crazy Comics and Stories.
Hello.
We're
Crazy
live
Comics and
streaming.
Stories. Live streaming.
So, please introduce yourself to the world.
Hello, world. Corey Kramer here. I am the creator and artist of Wonder Weenies. It's a webcomic that updates every Tuesday, Thursday at www.wonderweenies.com.
And what is what is Wonder Weenies?
Wonder Weenies is a story about a group of fast food workers who gained superpowers after being exposed to radioactive hot dogs on the job.
Ah, okay. And how long have you been doing this?
I've been drawing Wonder Weenies now for about 5 years.
Okay.
I've been a cartoonist for a long time. I'm a 96 graduate of Joe Kubert.
Oh, okay.
So I had really lousy timing when graduating in 96. But
so you graduated when Marvel declared bankruptcy.
Basically,
everybody went away but Diamond, and
Right.
Pretty much everything, all the indie books just kind of went like this.
Yes, it was not a good time. When I started in '93, it was a great time.
Oh yeah.
But what a difference 3 years made.
Now, who were some of the instructors you had?
Oh my goodness. Well, Joe himself, he's gone now, but he was a great instructor. Tex Blaisdell, Erwin Hazen, was Mike Sellers there? Mike Chen was there. He's kind of taken on the leadership role at the school now. Oh my goodness, so many. A lot of whom are gone now, unfortunately. But
So you went to the Kubert School, so obviously you wanted to draw comics at a young age.
yes.
Who was the artist where you, or what was the trigger where you went, that's what I want to do?
Well, my algebra teacher. But if we're talking artists, man, Bill Watterson was huge
Okay.
at the time. Big fan of early Charles Schultz. My grandmother had all the little digests, so I read those back and forth. She also had a lot of Harvey comics. I read a lot of those growing up.
So Ernie Cologne,
oh, sure.
Walter Kremer.
Sure, yeah. So a lot of that, and the television was my babysitter, so a lot of Hanna-Barbera cartoons.
Okay.
So,
And then as you're going through high school, you're taking the art classes. Did you enjoy the art classes, or were you like, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do pottery, I want to draw?
I didn't take that many art classes in high school. It was
Okay.
more, I was doodling in algebra class.
Oh, okay.
And my teacher, rather than hold me accountable and get me in trouble, was like, that's really cool, hanging on my wall. So every day for several years, I did an adventure where the algebra teacher was the hero and all the other teachers in the school were the villains. And
I bet the algebra teacher loved that.
oh, he did. Some of the other teachers, not so much.
Well, yeah.
But when it was time to decide what I wanted to do, I basically flipped a coin because I was also in the theater troupe, and heads try and go into cartooning, tails trying to go into acting, and it came up Kubert. So
There you go. Now, are you from the Minnesota area?
I am. I grew up in central Minnesota, but I live in Minneapolis now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how long have you been coming to this convention?
Oh my goodness. It's my 6th or 7th year here. I think, yeah, that seems right. So it's been a while.
Now, webcomics is, we have Jen Wicked on our
Yep,
show, and she's
yep.
a prominent webcomics artist. I've seen the Wonder Weenies stuff. I've heard about it what is it like to grow a webcomics audience now? How is it, because social media was evolving very rapidly.
Yes.
And I know years ago there were all these little webcomics collectives, like, what was it, Keen Comics?
Yeah.
Keen something. There was all-
Keen Spot was around.
that's
Keen
it.
Spot's still around a little bit.
And there were all of
Yeah.
these, but now it seems to have kind of broken off into its own little thing where Facebook and Twitter and stuff push.
Yeah. It's tough. Twitter, I get a lot of followers through the Twitter. I meet a lot of other web cartoonists through the Twitter. I get some through Facebook. I'm a member of the Minnesota comics community on the Facebook. I joined a collective myself not that long ago, the Collective of Heroes, a lot of superhero-based webcomics.
Okay.
It's still a little hard for me to wrap my brain around the whole social media aspect. There's a lot more I could do, a lot more I want to do. We're discussing starting Patreon and all of that, but it's still... I'm old school. I learned how to do everything just before the internet and computers exploded, and relearning some of that is a slower process for me than I would like.
Now, at the Kubert School, one of the things that they do, they don't just teach you art. They don't just teach you that. They teach you how to build a career.
Yes.
And as you're there as the industry's collapsing.
I want you to know, he's being interviewed live here, but the interview we did with him at St. Cloud has yet to air.
So were the teachers talking about, because Joe Kubert's gone through numerous comic collapses.
Yes.
Were the teachers there talking about, okay, this is what's going on in the business now and here's how to protect yourself? Or were they like, good luck?
I remember it. I don't remember a lot of talk about it because when I started in '93, everybody was getting work.
Yeah.
And nobody was worried about it. And when I was in third year, I mean, we were still going to Marvel and going to DC and getting interviewed. And, I remember being offered, oh, yeah, we have all these great cartoony books at Marvel. We're all set. And, then stuff happens and you never hear from anyone. So I don't remember a lot of talk about it. I imagine the next year there was a ton of talk about it. But I don't remember much talk about the collapse back then.
Okay. And when did you decide? What did you do after you got out and Marvel and DC are like, yeah, we're not publishing your kind of books anymore?
Well,
so between graduating and Wonder Weenies, this is what we call a gap.
It was a big gap.
And in the interview part, he's going to fill that gap.
Yes.
Now.
Yes. Well, I found alternate career for a good long time that I still do. I work with youth, troubled youth. So I maintain that as the day job. Currently, I work with depressed and suicidal teenagers as a residential treatment center.
I did something very similar.
Yeah.
I worked in corrections-based group homes for teenagers.
Oh, okay. I've been there too.
That is not an easy job.
No, it is not.
And I remember in my interview,
in
'88, the person interviewing me was like, "You have to commit to at least 6 months because our turnover is way too big."
Right.
So, can you commit to at least 6 months? I later found out that 2 years is about the average.
About the average, yeah.
And I stayed in that field from '88 to 2007.
Yeah, that's a good long while. I've been in it myself.
Why I'm in why I do this face.
Right.
But that's really, you're doing cartoony, funny books.
Yeah.
And that's your personal life. How do you keep those? How do you keep one from bleeding into the other?
To be honest, it takes doing the one for a long time to realize you have to keep it separate. I'll bring in the funny books and use it as a tool, and kids really seem to enjoy that. And sometimes when they're mad at me, they'll throw it in my face, tell me I'm horrible. But you have to shrug that off too. And then there are days I just have no idea how because they're such polar opposites. I deal with kids harming themselves, and my job is to keep them alive. And then I go home and draw anthropomorphic hot dogs.
Yes.
So.
And one of the things about that job that it took me a while to learn was how to leave the job at the job.
Yeah. Yeah.
To the point where I won't get into a whole lot of detail, but
I can imagine.
I do a lot of writing.
Yeah.
And boy, did that just sort of right into everything I wrote.
Yeah.
Everything I wrote. And it took me a while to go, no, pull that back, pull that back. So Wonder Weenies, you've been doing it 6 years?
Approximately. I believe it was 2010 when we went twice a week.
So where did the idea come from? And where did you say, I'm going to do webcomics?
Well, I wanted to get back into comics in general because I hadn't done it in a good long while. And I had was perusing online looking for comicking jobs. Not an easy thing to do. But I found a fella by the name of Rob Tracy who was looking to replace the artist on a webcomic called Remedy. And he liked what he saw. And I started working on Remedy. For the longest time I wanted to do a comic. I had shipped a couple ideas to the newspapers for a while, but you know, it was pretty obvious that's not the way to go anymore.
Yeah.
No offense to anyone who is drawing a newspaper strip, but you know, there's what, 2 syndicates now, if that.
And when's the last? You know, here in the Twin Cities, Star Tribune, I think they've changed strip. They've added 1 strip.
Yeah.
They added Big Nate, and Big Nate's been around for what, 15 years before they added it. Yeah, you're not getting in.
No,
you're just not.
So I decided to go the webcomic route. And as far as how did I come up with Wonder Weenies, originally I was shipping around a comic based on my high school theater troupe. And the longer I did it, the more I was like, this is based on a lot of people I know, and I didn't really want to run the risk of a syndicate owning partial rights to characters of mine based on people I knew. So I wanted to come up with a new idea. And my original idea was for a group of various fast food franchises that all had workers that were also superheroes. But in designing them, I found that the characters became a little more stereotyped than I would like. A Mexican from the Mexican fast food, Chinese, and so on.
Yeah.
I wasn't comfortable with that, so I picked a few of my favorites and put them all at the same restaurant, and it just sort of went from there. I picked hot dogs because there aren't any chain hot dog joints, really.
Right.
So.
And I'm sorry, hot dogs are naturally funny.
I know, right? You
Burgers
have no idea.
are not funny. Chicken isn't funny. Burritos aren't funny. Burritos are fucking awesome. But there's something about hot dogs that is just naturally funny.
Yeah, and I try to keep my comic all ages, and when Wonder Weenies is the title, the temptation to go blue is really high.
And how many times do people come to your website thinking they're hitting YouPorn or RedTube?
I've had a couple people say, "Oh, Wonder Weenies. Oh, what is, you know? Is that safe?"
Hey, Corey.
Hey,
How are you?
we are broadcasting live.
Nice.
Hello.
You're right around. It's okay. People come by saying hi.
That's half the fun of the live.
I'm sure it is.
Let's see here. We actually have some questions. What was your best class during your time at Kubert School?
Oh, my best class. Oh, let me see. I really enjoyed the humor classes, but mostly because it was right up my alley. I
Now,
could
who
say.
was your humor teacher?
Oh my goodness, I had several, and I'm drawing a blank, and I feel awful.
Yeah, because the thing is, there aren't a lot of humor comic books.
Yeah.
We did a thing on funny books, and you know, stuff that's being published now. It's like, okay, there's Gru, and
Yeah, it's tough to find them.
well, this comic has some funny parts.
Right. Well, the ones that are out there now seem to be based on properties like your Bob's Burgers and things like that.
Yeah, it's very much like that. The
Yeah.
Simpsons comic's been going since the dawn of time.
Yeah. But I could say first year, I don't know if they'd still do it, but back when I was in Kubert, you had to take a year of animation as well as all the other classes. And I did learn quite a bit from the animation class because it really lent itself to my cartoony style. And I still remember all of it, but my knowledge, who does hand-drawn animation anymore?
Yeah.
Because they didn't teach the computer stuff back then. So, but I did learn a lot from the animation classes. I learned a lot from the humor classes. I still hand letter, so I'm rather proud I got
you and Jim Wickett are the 2 people left who do cartooning on hand letter.
I know, and I'm
And it's funny how Jen is such a computer person, but when it comes to computer lettering, she's burn it at the stake.
yeah.
And I can understand that because there is a difference. There really is a difference.
I think so too. Despite the fact that I paid good money to learn how to do it, I much prefer to hand letter. It takes a little bit more time, sure, but yeah, like you said, you can definitely tell. So.
And lettering is actually one of the things about comics that people only notice when it's bad.
Yeah.
And back in the 70s at Marvel, I've talked to a lot of the writers there who controlled a lot of their own stuff, and they would say they would fight over certain letterers. Because if they got this letterer, they knew that they could write more.
Oh, sure.
But, if we get this guy, our captions can't be more than, we can't put more than 35 words on a page.
Right.
Or they'll be illegible.
Yeah. I've run into that, because when I'm drawing and writing the comic strips, I tend to do it in the Marvel style, kind of.
Okay.
I'll write my dialogue first, and then I'll draw around the dialogue. And every once in a while, I'll run into I want to put this much, I got this much room, bust out the thesaurus because I got to make stuff shorter.
Okay.
So it's not always easy.
Now, with the mechanics of drawing, are you drawing on paper? Or are you drawing?
I am drawing everything on paper.
Okay.
I've got a few original strips here at the show. If anybody wants original, I'm just saying.
Now, a lot of the people who are watching this now, or will watch it later, will be on the internet.
Yes.
So, at the website,
www.wonderweenies.com.
can they actually? Oh, I like the strip. Do you still have the original art?
Yes, I still have the original art. I'm working with my tech guy. I said to him I would like to put a widget underneath the comic to say whether or not the original art for any individual strip is available. That's not up yet. He's a busy fella, but that is something I want to do. But if you follow me either on Twitter, which is at Corey Remark, capital COREY REMAR capital K, and on Facebook, cartoonist Corey Kramer. You can follow me there and send me a message inquiring about it until I've got that widget. So
there we go. And 6 years still going strong.
Oh, still going strong.
Publishing the books.
Yep.
Any other ideas coming forward, or are you going to stick with Wonder Weenies?
Well, I'm definitely going to stick with Wonder Weenies for the foreseeable future. I have other ideas. I have an idea for a space-based humorous comic called Bruce Skypock that I would love to do. I have the whole first issue done. I originally envisioned it as like a 5-issue miniseries. It's been on the back burner for a long time, but I do want to finish it at some point. And I've always wanted to do a time travel-based comic. I haven't decided if I'd take a humorous approach with that or if I'd do something more serious. And of course, the aforementioned comic based on the theater troupe, I wouldn't mind doing that either.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you for stopping by. Hope
All
the
right.
convention's successful.
Okay,
And,
thanks
you're
for
going to be on
having me.
again because Joe's got you recorded already.
All right. Like, ooh, okay.
There we go. Thanks so much.
All right, I'm going to
Take
get
care.
back and take over for that minion that's taking over for me.
Okay. Oh, let's see how the feed is doing. We are still good. I actually have to do a little tech stuff right now, believe it or not. I know, right? Because I'm not home, so I have to check the streaming. I have to check that I have enough data. Behind the scenes. See if there's anything on the Facebook, too. Eli just said that she was here. We got also just posted a video of Jen dancing. I'm going to change that because she wants to be able to share it herself. Yes, I have big, fat, tubby fingers. But you know what they say. I'll have to do it later. You know what they say, big hands and feet, big shoes and gloves. So let's go with Matthew Guy's question. If I could pull it up here. I thought Joe was coming over, but of course he vanished. Joe just wanders off. He's always done this. Yes, I am. I'm talking to the internet. Yeah. I don't know. I have nothing to do with the charity table this year because we are live streaming the entire time the convention is on. So if you want, go to YouTube/user/Corey Strode. You can watch us blathering on like idiots yesterday. I'm blathering on like idiots today.
put it on as background noise.
Or and every so often, Jin comes over and dances. It's a beautiful thing. So.